What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about Dungeons and Dragons and Idle champions. And with me this week is Michelle Nguyen Bradley.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't know
There's no
how
one talking like this.
I don't know what happened as I was talking there, but you know what? We're just gonna go with it. Michelle.
Okay.
Thank you
What
so
a
much.
lovely range of voices you have.
Yes, that's all I'll be doing. I'll be asking every question today in a completely different voice. No, I won't. Before I let you introduce yourself and whatnot, I'm gonna make it clear here before I forget later. We are live right now, which is another reason why none of this is edited out. Hello, everybody. We're doing a live episode today, so if you have any questions for Michelle throughout the episode, you can put them into chat with question, and then your question, and we'll read them at the end of the episode. And with that out of the way, Michelle, if people don't know who you are somehow, who are you for those fine folks?
Hi. My name is Michelle Nguyen Bradley. You can find me on my internet down there. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I make a fool of myself mostly on the internet. I am a host, I am a producer, I am a voice actor, and professional tabletop RPG player, amongst other things. I'm also a mother of a dog. Anyway, like a real dog.
What's the doggo's name?
Her name is Moogie, and that's why my character's name is Mugen.
Are you kidding? I didn't know this.
I just ported my dog into this game, and
oh well, now I'm very excited. Well, I was already very excited. Now I'm even more excited because there's real doggos and whatnot. Oh my gosh!
And Kelly did the same thing with Scotty, her dog, and I was just like, let's get everyone's pets in this lore to live forever in Idle Champions. Yeah. I've been doing the on-camera stuff for about 5 years-ish, and I've been producing for over a decade, and wow. I am still doing it, still here making
damage. Heck yeah. We're here today to talk about Familiar Quest and Mugen and now also Moogie, because that we have that is going to be a main topic now. But before we get to that, I like to ask the same question each time. It's a nice little icebreaker. Michelle, how'd you get into D&D?
Oh, so I'm actually a late adopter, technically speaking. My first time playing D&D was like in 2013, so like past the aughts. But
I was 2011. I get it. Okay, I was right there with you.
Basically I had been sort of interested in it for like a while, but then it's just the whole like getting people together thing, and Roll20 didn't really quite exist yet, or I can't remember exactly. The situation was basically I didn't know anything about it. I did however, this actually kind of weird tangentially, I have been friends with like the Critical Role people, like Matt and Matt Mercer and Marisha. I've been friends with them since before they started that show.
Oh, nice.
So when they started doing the show and like playing D&D online, it started becoming, the first couple of years it was a very like slow like bump, like people started talking about it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like that seems like fun. And then my husband was really interested in playing, so one of my best friends, Alquin Gersh, he was like, okay, let's just I'll be the DM and we're gonna play. Just come over and let's go. So we got at first there were like 8 of us, so there were like too many people, truly. And then like some people kind of splintered off, like this is actually not for me, and which is fine.
Yeah, that works.
And and then we've been that campaign we played for something like 3 years, and then another player took over as a DM, and we just finished that campaign like maybe a year and a half ago. Wow. So we just kept playing, but we had those lovely let's meet up around noon and like we'll get a little lunch and like make some mimosas, and then
those
hanging out till like midnight. It was out of control.
Oh my god, midnight. Jeez.
Yeah, we just played all day. That's when I first started playing D&D, like just off camera, and no plans to make this into some kind of a career or anything. And stupid Michelle, you didn't know you would turn all your hobbies into work.
That's I relate to that way too hard. But oh yeah, that's awesome, man. So that campaign went on for how long was that? Like 5 years, 5 or 6 years? No, more than that. Yeah,
whatever the math is.
Yeah, I was just trying to do the math in my head, but man, today is not
to 22. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 years. There we go.
Yeah. So we've been in some long ones. I had 2 characters, and I was only playing 2 characters for that many years, and now it's like a new character every day, basically.
Well, one of those new characters, recent new characters, is Mugen. In a Familiar Quest. Let's start with this. just in case someone is tuning into this just for the first time, they've never seen Isle Champion stuff before. They're finding this on YouTube later. What is Familiar Quest?
Familiar Quest is a D&D game where we're all familiars, but we don't have any companions. We don't, like, usually familiars are summoned by a magic user of some type. We just exist individually, fancy free. And season 1 was about us all meeting in Barovia. Some of us had been transported there magically. We didn't know why or how. And then dealing with the leftover of the Curse of Strahd. And then season 2, we got some new players in, a new GM, and we our adventure continued in Waterdeep. I mean, it's sort of Mind Flayer adjacent.
Mind Flayer. Oh yeah, we were. Yeah. I like the companions.
Yes,
yeah. And you play Mugen on there. Tell me about Mugen. How did you make Mugen?
I'm gonna try to like find a photo on my phone to show on screen, which is so stupid. But
no, do it. I'm here for
it. It's so hard to multitask. But anyway, basically, Mugen is a two-headed death dog in season 1, who is very sweet and very stupid, but was the largest creature out of the whole group. Everyone else was like a bug or a rat, or everyone was like tiny except for me. And then Mugen's number one cool thing about her is that sometime like halfway through the first season, Todd, who was DMing at the time, was like, hey, you guys can pick any, like, I think it was wondrous item or like semi-rare. Right. I don't know. He said something like, pick anything from this category of item. And I was like, he's like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. So I picked a broom.
Yeah.
It's the most broken item. Like,
it's one of my favorite things in the game.
It's yeah, you basically can just make it do anything. It can fly like 100 feet. Oh, it can carry like 100 pounds. So you can like pick up anything.
Yeah.
Just, it's like an extra thing to command it. And it was actually a main character in the second season where Mugen turned into 2 quippers. So it was a swarm of quippers. We decided 2 was a good number because 3 was too much to take care of. But like we had to be in water all the time, me and M's character, because she was playing a seahorse, a miniature giant seahorse.
Yes.
Incredible. But we had to be in water. So basically we were being carried around. We were in a bucket full of water with a broom, like carrying it around like the whole season. That was
one of my favorite things Luke McKay has drawn. It was the comic that had the broom with all in the bucket.
It is truly the dumbest. I think that pretty much sums up Mugen. And then I guess spoilers so that's the main 4 that Mugen has, is that Mugen and a bunch of the other familiars are magically changed into different familiars at the very beginning of the first episode of season 2, and we stay that way for pretty much the whole season until something else happens.
We'll get to that. We're going to talk a little about that. We'll give you a warning for people out there who don't want spoilers. But one of the things I wanted to ask when it comes to like making Mugen and whatnot, because I remember watching the first episode, and as soon as you started doing the Mugen voice, I was instantly in love with this character. Like, just the voice alone was perfection. Did you know that voice going in, or did you just do it off the cuff?
I think it's one of those things in a lot of my shows that I do where I'm like, oh god, guys, I didn't pick a voice for my character yet, so whatever comes out of my mouth is gonna do that for a whole season. So that was one of those times. But I also just thought about my dog and like what like I think she sounds like when she's trying to talk, and she was talking like this. And like I definitely lose the thread a couple of times. Like I can't remember what it sounded like. But it's basically like this, and everything's a question.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm still trying to find this photo, by the way, but I can't find it. It's basically, if you look up like 2-headed Labrador, it's like,
oh my god,
it's just 2 Labradors like laying on top of each other, so it looks like they have 2 heads, and it's pretty adorable.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a grotesque. We have.
I was like, is this a Ripley's Believe It or Not post you got going on?
What a reference, by the way. What?
Listen, I really liked Ripley's Believe It or Not when I was a kid, because it was weird stuff.
Like, was it a show or was it?
It was a weird book and a weird show, and apparently there's also a museum somewhere that just is weird.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's an old dated reference. Anywho,
I hear. I hear you.
So, okay, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up because I brought it up during M's episode. Tell me about the friendship between Mugen and Gail, because it's just so good.
Oh, yeah. We like truly oh, I found the picture. Anyway, let me finish this question. So we didn't really know how we would all be related when we first started that first episode of season 1. We just basically like ran into it like, I don't know, hey, Em, how about our characters friends? And she's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And how do we know each other? We like just on the spot like made it up. Like, where are we from? Like, I don't know, Waterdeep. And I had this whole thing with bones. Like, I had in my mind, dogs love bones.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, and I just like Googled like graveyards in D&D.
Oh, and then yeah, City of the Dead. Yep.
And then I found, I found the graveyard, I can't remember what it's called right now, but in Waterdeep. So technically speaking, our backstory was sort of like we didn't have our companions, the wizard, and so we were just wandering around by ourselves, and we just were hanging out there because it was like a cool place to like find bones and hang out. And then from there we were transported. But in general,
I want that as like a tagline just for friend groups in generals. Find bones, hang out.
Yeah, it's that thing.
It's a group of goths.
It is that.
Yeah.
So oh, okay. Sorry, I'm still trying to find this thing.
It's okay. It's okay.
I am like obsessed now. No, what's happening? So our friendship though ends up being very sweet because my character is dumb and like I love playing a dumb. Like it's very rewarding for me. But
very freeing.
Yeah, it's very freeing because you kind of like you don't have to understand anything. And then M's character seemed to be the one that had it all together. But of course, as the season goes on, you know that we're both just two idiots who are like sharing one brain cell.
The bestest of friends.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think the friendship's very sweet, and we carry it through both seasons. That we support each other, and then we kind of like we're attached to each other. And I think that kind of is like the heart of the first part of the like first season, I want to say, before we kind of bond with Henyo's and Megan's character. So it's nice. I like to play best friends.
Yeah. Well, tell me about Mugen's arc throughout season 1 and 2. We can get into the spoiler part at the end of that one. We'll give you a little bit of a warning, but yeah, what has Mugen's arc been like?
Geez, I think like okay, a couple of things happen. One is that I start out as a very sweet little dum-dum, and I stay that way. However, also Mugen is very good. I at some point in the middle of season 1, I eat up, someone like gives me a bone. It's a very offhand thing where I'm asking for a treat, and then Megan's character, whose name
Squiddle.
Squiddle.
Yep.
Squiddle, I think I can't remember if she was like, I grabbed this bone that I know what it is, or she just threw something random at me and Todd decided what it was. But I eat the finger bone or leg bone of Strahd, basically, and I didn't know that. I'm like, great, a bone, okay, and I eat it, and that's and I was just like, no repercussions. And so after that, yeah, I slowly turn into a vampiric form of what I am. So I get the ability to like, if I drink blood, I gain HP back. If I can do that weird spider climb thing. And so I turn a little scary, and I have a dark gift. What's it called?
Oh.
Where it's basically like a shadow form comes out and like intimidates or frightens
Heck yeah,
player.
that's cool.
So I sort of play that like that was the power that was imbued to me via Strahd. So that's Mugen season 1. And then we like spoilers like defeat Strahd.
Oh,
Lauren's
got the
yes,
picture.
that's the picture. That's the non-scary picture. Yeah, it's very look at him. So that was the picture I found on the interweb, and I sent that to the CNU team, and I was like, Mugen is this, but has a little cape and has a little spike on one of the heads. Because I figured my premise for this character was I was technically a gladiator fighter type.
Yeah.
So my previous owner use me as like a show dog. So that was my idea. We never actually we never talked about that. Like it never came up ever. But anyway, that's why I'm really good at like performance, and I've got the spike exists. But it's like my dagger when I stab. But my bite attack was pretty dope actually. So I just
there you go.
And then yeah, season 2, I just sort of reset. I'm like back to being dumb. Like I'm nice and sweet. Nothing bad's ever happened to me my whole life.
What dark gift? I don't know about that.
Yeah, but I definitely do try to like incur revolution with all the other familiars at some point. So like we can learn something about politics in the last couple of years.
Took a semester off, learned a lot.
Yeah, is a socialist. Absolutely.
Yep,
yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is a unique sort of Idle Insights though, is because this one we're doing after season 2 ended.
Mm-hmm.
How did season 2 go? This is spoiler zone, by the way.
Okay.
Mute the stream if you want. We're gonna go in the spoiler zone for a little bit. I'll give you a double thumbs up when we're good.
Okay. If I had like a little flag, I could hold it. Oh. Sorry, was the question what happened in season 2?
Yeah, what happened in season 2?
Like a lot. I don't know. So you watched it, but Gabe James joins us as Marvel, who, like, again, we're a bunch of dum-dums. It starts out with Mugen the Death Dog, Gail the tiny rat fighter, and Pest. There we go. His character Pest, which is the little bug who is great. And we meet Marvel, Gabe's chaotic evil. I don't even know what.
Chaotic, pure chaotic.
Just chaotic character. And you know, at face value, we're like, oh, hello, welcome to the neighborhood. And of course, like Gabe is like, oh, I have like secret things. Like that's not in this game. We don't have any like this. What you see is what you get. So he's a character that has any depth at all. We meet him, and then eventually get sucked into Waterdeep. We change forms, and that's when I become a swarm of quippers. Gail becomes a miniature giant seahorse, and Pest becomes what's it called? That weird cat?
I don't know what it's called. I have also just been thinking in my head as the weird cat.
Yeah. It sounds like the word Winchester, but it's not. It's something.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Mince cat, and that's not it. I'm just saying words now. And we have to solve the mystery of who is abducting familiars and their companions, and why we are like this. It's called a Grimishka. I think you learned. Grimishka is the name of the thing that ends in chat. Thank you. Yeah, and that's and then we have to figure out this mystery. Who's doing it?
Yeah,
and it's like all these puzzles we can't solve. It's incredible.
Yeah, I heard there was something going on there with Halaster and the Xanathar, and then Mind Flayers came in.
Incredible. Yeah, we truly did not grasp what was happening like until the last episode. Yeah, there's another. We figured out what's going on. It's actually an internal conflict between the Xanathar and Halster, whatever how you say his name.
We around this channel refer to him as Alabaster Booty Clap.
Alabaster Booty Clap. I can make some backstory here.
Long story short, during an Idle Champions Presents, Halaster Black Cloak showed up, and we made a thing on Champions of Lore that Erin M. Evans did recaps of these shows as Havilar, who is basically a valley girl with a glaive. And she was her character was drunk at the time, so she's like, I don't really remember what his name was. I think it was like Alabaster Booty Clap or something. And we just never looked back from there. In fact, there's a character in game that shows up at one point that has the name Alabaster Booty Clap. It is now canon.
Wow! Thank you, C&E Games, for giving that little nugget to us. Is there like one in the game? Is it like a hidden character?
No. I think it was. I think it's when the street urchins are telling like stories and embellishing everything, and Halaster Black Cloak shows up, but the name on the screen is Alabaster Booty Clap.
That's incredible. I love it. Love to see it. And thank you. The chat is like, we are talking about this. It's good. Appreciate that energy.
Yeah. So yeah, the weird Waterdeep stuff, but y'all got that wrapped up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess saved. So. It's weird. The ending was like wild. Let's see. It was like, hey, you guys get a spaceship, and we're like,
what?
Yeah, so we got a spaceship at the end, and unclear what happens because I'm just like, I press a button, and then that's like how it ends. Like,
oh, geez.
So a little tiny cliffhanger.
Either you're going into space or you blew up Waterdeep.
Yeah.
Yay. That is fantastic. Yeah, the show has been a blast to get, because like I get to watch it here and there, but every clip that I see of that show has me laughing every single time. Y'all are absolutely incredible with the characters that you're doing.
Thank you. It is pure chaos. Like, what a wonderful way to spend 2 hours, you know? Like, just
right?
screaming at each other and not knowing what's going on. What's a puzzle? We can't solve it. Just hit it.
Just hit it. The brutest of brute force.
What's this?
Well, one of the other things I want to talk about before, and we've actually been getting questions. So remember, chat, put question colon into the and then your question into the chat. We'll grab them. Or also Mod Martin will, and we'll ask those at the end. We're also gonna have a giveaway coming up in a little bit when Martin tells me it happens. So watch out. Oh, also. You're good now.
Oh.
I remembered. Ha ha!
No more spoilers, unless I say a spoiler, and then I don't know. I don't
know. But before we get to those chat questions, you do a lot of stream games. And one of the things that I love that I saw on your Twitter account, which is the Autumn of Michelle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, is that too much?
No, I love it. I love it. So what all games are you in right now?
It is in the current year of our Lord 2022 in the month of October. I can speak to what I'm doing right now.
It's fair.
So Mondays were Familiar Quest, and now that's all wrapped up. So bless. Tuesday nights I am on a show called Outbreak Undead Project Nero. It's a show using the Outbreak Undead system on Pixel Circus's Twitch channel, and it's live in studio. We had a player death last week. Like, it's so intense. We're on episode 3. So
are you all using the second edition one of Outbreak Undead? Yeah, I played the first one, and that game was brutal.
It is brutal. We're told to prepare 2 characters in case something happens, that we can have at least like something else go on in the second half of the episode or whatever. But it's really intense. Basically, a zombie apocalypse happens. What do people do? They become monsters. So in the first half of this season, we are exploring wanderers who are traders. They're called Rag and Bone. And then in the second half, we are moving to Project Nero, which is sort of like this government organization that they are making clones. They're actively trying to figure out how to cure this disease. And we get to play both sides, which is interesting. Yeah, so that's happening right now.
That sounds cool as heck.
Yeah, it's very scary. It's so intense. In the studio, we're all like, I'm like sweating all the time. I'm just like, oh god, what if I die? I feel like I'm gonna die right now.
Oh, I need to give that a watch. What's wild is I learned about Outbreak Undead when it first started because of a podcast drama that was on. I don't even remember when it was on, but it was called We're Alive. It was like a zombie audio drama. And I think they did
Geek and Sundry days. They did
Geek and Sundry did a show with it too. Yeah, the show was based off of the podcast drama.
Yes.
And yeah, man, I loved that show. That show was so good.
Yeah, and the team that like wrote that game is the team we're working with. Like we are working directly with Hunters Entertainment. I'm actually this is not written anywhere because there's no room in my Twitter profile. I don't know. I'm actually a project manager at Hunters Entertainment right now.
Oh, cool.
So I don't like write anything cool, but I do like so many good spreadsheets.
Hey.
Sure all the writers know when their deadlines are.
As someone who is in spreadsheets most of the day, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You're cool.
So that's my Tuesday. And then Wednesday, it's actually a mini series called Exploration Race, using the system Mutant Year Zero. We just finished our 3rd episode yesterday. Player death? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Like 2 for 2. It's not been great. Hopefully we got this interview live. And it wasn't me though, it was somebody else. I'm doing okay. And that is also set in a post-apocalyptic world. It's on Demiplane. It's also live. It's remote broadcast and
I was warned about this ahead of time. Okay, we're gonna give Michelle a quick second because we were warned that this could happen. So look, we're back and everything is fine and nothing happened at all. Michelle, you were talking about. I think you were onto your Thursday show.
Yeah. So Wednesdays I've been playing with Mutant Year Zero. Very fun. Also post-apocalyptic, but we're all mutants. Very fun.
Hey.
And yeah, and then Thursdays, I'm in a it's called an audio drama for Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga. So this has been it's a pre-written scripted show written by Rachel J. Wilkinson, and she
Oh,
cast a really diverse pool of voice actors to just do the story, and it's very well audio produced.
is that one
There's
done
complete
live?
work. No, that's we
Okay,
all
okay.
recorded remotely in studios, and yeah, and then she's been like compiling it. So those are really great because there's 2 seasons out. Each season is only 10 episodes and it's only 30 minutes, so it's very like quick, get do a
Oh,
story, and it's
that's
very
that's my length of time that I have to invest into things. I'm taking out my
yeah.
phone right now.
I know. So I joined in the second season. I play a character named Anna Sandoval. She's the Tremere Primogen, and she's really great. She's like Mean Girl meets like Victorian Goth. And she's got some great like banger lines, like
That's the best combination
biker
I've ever
Barbie and
heard.
stuff. Yeah,
Biker Barbie.
it's incredible. So that's Thursdays. So there's a new episode today. And then Fridays, I'm in New York by Nights, which is another Vampire the Masquerade show. That is a pre-recorded show.
Mm-hmm.
We finished that season a while ago. I joined in season 2 as we follow the Camarilla coterie. And I am a little problem. It's a mess.
Well, that was actually the one that I wanted to talk to you about because there's a lot of the vampire shows going on, a lot of the by night branding, which I think that's so cool that I love that they all have that going through them. But tell me a little bit more about New York by Night. Like what is going on with that? Like if people don't know, they've seen this in Vampire and whatnot, they're not really sure what's going on there. What's up with it?
So, imagine, if you will, an RPG where instead of classes, you have clans. So instead of being like a rogue who's good at sneaking, you can be a Tremere who's good at blood magic. Or instead of I'm trying to like think of good analogies. Um, Instead of being like the info tech person, like you're a Nosferatu and you you're good at technology and communications, but you also have, we call them clan banes, where your face is you are disfigured in some way. So every clan has their own like thing that they're kind of good at, and they have their own bane, which makes them sort of monstrous, whether that's physically or mentally. And this game is about, you become a vampire and you have to live in a society where there are other yeah you're either the drama is either that you are fighting with other vampires for like land or rights or something, or that you are fighting the man, which is, there's a whole system of like rulership, is that a word? And
Sounds right.
then yeah, that's probably a word. And then also at the same time, you are the main plot is about yourself, and you are trying not to become a monster. So there's this whole thing about like bestial failures.
Yeah, I've never known
Bestial,
exactly which one to say, is a bestial,
sure.
bestial, whichever.
Yeah, and then the more you fail, the more that your beast is like this thing in your head that makes you want to just like murder. Uh,
Hello,
yeah.
we are back. Yo.
Yeah.
Well, we got Michelle from a new angle now, but what you're talking about Vampire the Masquerade
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and trying to, not turn into a monster, which I think is unique, considering I think most people would be like, oh, but you're a vampire, aren't vampires monsters?
Yeah. And so the whole thing is like, you can approach it that way, but then if you in the game, if you let the beast take over too many times without fighting it, you turn into it's called a wight, WIGHT, which is basically a mindless killing machine. And then you're basically dead. Like you have no more ability to reason, to talk, and you're just a husk of what you were. So really it's fun because my character I'm playing, Min Kim, I'm leaning into the whole beast thing. So I'm like, I'm new here. This seems cool, but like I haven't learned like the lesson yet that's bad.
I like that. Yeah, so this one is, it's still like the setup as the other ones have been, where like you are all at like I always think it looks like kind of like a council room, like the way that the Vampire by Night stuff is set up.
Uh-huh.
So like I remember hearing that one of them was like essentially all of them were taking place like in a room like that where they were having discussions. Is this one different? Like, is your character out in the city and doing stuff and everything?
Yeah, I mean it's like any other RPG. I think we definitely have like more meetings than probably other RPGs, but like let's make a plan, let's do this. But we definitely are out on the town. The first episode is pretty like we get right into it. We're supposed to like check a museum out and like look for stuff. And my character is rolled bad, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna destroy things, and we immediately go into combat. So like, there's definitely, I would say it's pretty split even between like sort of that political intrigue, and then also, hey, our characters can like walk up walls and stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah, that it has always interested me from the angle of like the intrigue and everything, and the clans like going against each other and all that stuff. But then also, you're a freaking vampire, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
always
it's a really fun system, and I think in a way it's so different than D&D, because you're not really trying to save anyone or fight an evil. You kind of
yeah.
are the evil, and you're just trying to make sure you're saving yourself, and it's pretty interesting. It's very like dramatic, that like emo goth young Michelle would have loved this too.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, Vampire was like the first RPG that I tried to get into. Like, I bought the book, like the old red cover one and everything like that. And I tried to understand it so badly, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. And it wasn't until that I started playing D&D that I was like, oh, all that stuff that I learned before is making a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten to go back and play that one. But it's always the one that when I hear someone say like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do an evil D&D campaign," I'm like, "No, you want to go play Vampire."
Kinda.
Yeah.
We have fun over here.
Yeah. So what are the last questions I got for you before we switch over to the chat questions? This is not me asking like what's your favorite stream. That is way too difficult of a question to do. But what has been one of your favorite TTRPG systems to play on stream?
Such a loaded question. I don't know. I feel like on stream it's way more about like who you're playing with, what the plot is, like what's like happening in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I love playing D&D online. Honestly, there's just so much integrated with different apps like Roll20 and D&D Beyond to like be able to do that all remotely, which makes it a lot easier to play for like shows and stuff like that. And the system is like, I find like that's the easiest system for obviously viewers to understand too. Like, I roll this, I'm doing good, what stat I need to do.
Yeah.
But I will say like a game I've played sort of recently was Savage Worlds, and that gameplay is like, it's like so quick to make a character, and the roles are just like, it's sort of like a yes or no situation. I really like playing that for a while too. Yeah, I like a game that for streaming, like again, it's really about the story and like what kind of arc you have planned for your dude. When I would say when I'm playing like a D&D game versus when I'm playing something like Vampire the Masquerade or Outbreak Undead, is that if I know the tone is horror and or serious and dramatic, I write an arc for my character before I start the game. And I share this with my DM. It's like a writing exercise. I write two sentences. One is, what is the lie they believe? And the second is, what is the truth they will learn? And that's really fun because you can just do broad strokes, anything, but I think that really helps to solidify what your character's sort of motivations are. And, even it helps you like flesh out backstory too.
I think that is honestly a really great idea, like especially for the DM to know like where they can lead that story to for you.
Yeah, and I know it's really hard for most players to say like, what do you want to do? Like every time, every week, a DM is like, so what's your character want to do this episode or this time? You're like, I don't know. Cool. So it's kind of cool it's kind of useful to think in advance. I'm trying to, I think I'm trying to find my mom, but really, I know she's dead. Something. I mean, this is like,
yeah.
If you want to get really into the weeds with drama, and I it depends what kind of game you're playing also.
Yeah. No, I think that's a totally valid answer of just like that the people you're playing with in the story is especially for a stream thing is so much more important of the stream itself. Because I think you could do like almost any system, but as long as you have a good group of people, people are going to show up for that.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop over to chat and see what questions they've been up to. Actually, I don't know. I might have missed the Okay, I did. It seems like a good time for a giveaway. I don't know if I missed it in the chat. No, I don't think I did because I didn't see it in there. So we're gonna do a giveaway right now. And it's wait and watch in the chat for Martin to post the ready set go. But the keyword is going to be, again, watch and chat. Is going to be Mugen. So yeah, there it is. There it is, right there. Put that in and enter for a chance to win 42 chests of any type except for Bahamut. So, starting with Winterborn 1-2 question. I saw Michelle on an episode. It says I saw Michelle on an episode of Actually 2 weeks ago. What was that like, and were you disappointed you couldn't do an in-studio appearance?
I think that was actually my second or third time on Actually. So
really?
My first couple times I was on in studio, which is great. That team is out of control. The energy.
I literally just found this show like a few weeks ago, and I got a Dropout subscription because of it, and I've been slowly working through those episodes. So I'm gonna have to watch out for your episode or episodes.
I think the first time I'm on it, I like do pretty good. The second time on it, I'm like trash at it. The third time on it, which is the remote version, which this person is talking about, is I do like okay, but I do like say some incorrect things. Later on, I was like, I don't think that was right, but when I wouldn't say anything. I'll be on some more episodes of I'm Actually coming up soon. They're in the middle of filming a new season. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh God. Well, the funny thing is I have this constant joke, knowing B. Dave Walters, he just pops up everywhere in the internet.
Yeah.
I find the show randomly, or my wife did anyways. And, we started watching it, and then like the next day, B. Dave puts out a tweet. I'm gonna be on an episode of Actually this week. I'm just like, I just found this show, dude. How are you already on this show?
Well, I mean, the circles run pretty tight. Like I know it's technically a College Humor. So Dropout is a subsidiary of College Humor, and actually, a lot of people don't know this. The COO of Dropout is David Kearns, who is the husband of Becca Scott, who we know as a D&D, a Magic the Gathering person. So it's sort of like all this trickled down, and then we're all like friends. So also, I would say if you are watching Dropout and want to see more of my dumb face, I'm also on the live episode of Mystics and Magic that we did at Gen Con. They uploaded it to Dropout recently, and it's pretty good. Also,
cool.
That's a spoiler. I can't tell you, but something very bad at the end.
We'll spoil our own channel shows, but not that one. You go watch that on Dropout. Absolutely, it's a fantastic service. Okay, let's go to the Lurking Writer question. Did you decide on what Mugen would become in season 2, or a familiar quest? And did you know that what Gail would become before episode 1? Them both needing to be carried around in a bucket of water is such a fun and interesting concept. So kudos to both of you for that wonderful imagery.
Okay, we were allowed to pick our own familiars, and I had 2 options. And back when I was working with C&E Games, like, guys, I have an idea to be an aquatic thing, but is that stupid because I'm going to be stuck needing water? And I think this is back when we were still working with Todd before he left. But he was just like, yeah, do whatever you want. I don't care. Do it. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It doesn't matter.
That sounds like Todd.
And then separately, I didn't even talk to Em about this, but separately, Em decided on Seahorse, and we were like, well, are we best friends forever? So that was just like a mind meld that happened. Yeah. I knew before we started filming that first episode of season 2, but I found out after we'd picked our characters. The broom thing was just like I said to Latia, I'm like, is there a way we're gonna fix this, or is it gonna be us needing water gonna be a problem the whole season 2? And she's like, I'll just figure it out. I was like, here, just have a bucket.
Just have a bucket.
Like, perfect. This is D&D, magic, mystery, and buckets.
That sounds like the name of a show.
Yeah, I would love if it was one of those like Home Depot buckets instead of like a old time one, just an orange.
The giant orange one, yeah. Get a little more room in there. Let's see. Winterboard 1-2 has another question. Any hints on when we will see Mugen and crew again?
Oh, I don't know. No one's told me anything. I think we're all like very excited to, come back as these characters, or who knows what next. But that's a decision for the future that's a decision for not for us. But I would be happy to come back as Mugen, but we don't know.
Okay, we shall see. We're leaving as the mystery part of Mystery Magic and Buckets. Let's see. Cassius335 says, question, if Michelle could choose for the familiars where the saucer had taken them, where would that be? Would it even be in the Forgotten Realms, plane of ice cream and milkshakes, or something else?
Ooh, let's see. Let's see. Where would Mugen want to go? I think Mugen wants to go wherever there's food and snacks and friendship. So I think honestly, I think Mugen wants to go back to Barovia, to go back to Dottie's, what was Dottie's tavern called? Something weird like
Oh God.
the happy place, something, kind of cute and
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I'm sure somebody in chat might have that one.
Yeah. I think Mugen would truly return back to Barovia to be with her weird clone family, with Clone High. And
Oh, Clone High.
yeah. What a show. I guess if I had to pick something different that was like a more interesting answer. Wherever, just like anywhere there's like meat. Just some like random butcher. It's like not even anywhere near Waterdeep. It's just like some place known for having a great steak.
Garwar suggests the plain of bones and dog treats.
Yeah. Mugen wants to go to there. Absolutely.
I love that. Let's see. This one is from Orc Princess. Question. I admire all of you who are brave and stream. I can't do it. Do you find many differences in your role play while streaming versus not streaming? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So what I'm streaming, mostly when I'm streaming, this is a job. We are actors, we are improvisers, we are being paid to entertain you, and we're gonna do it, damn it. I would absolutely like being aware of things like, a presentation, like looking nice, pre-planning anything we do, going over, well, lines and veils you do with any game, and having, an idea of like timing, respecting people's space, for say like camera time, that kind of stuff is something that you have to really always be thinking about while you're on stream. So it's not just like playing well, it's about like, I don't know. I think it's called it's like just like a situational awareness of like what's happening. I have a background in I have a background in improv, but you wouldn't know it. And something they're always teaching you there is you have to really listen. Like you're not just waiting your turn to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
You're listening to what everyone's saying around you and reacting off of that, and that makes a good show. That and yes, ending dumb stuff. That's absolutely what you got to do.
Oh yeah.
And then playing at home, I am like pajamas. I'm just rolling up with a box of wine. I'm laying on the ground eating ramen chips. Like I do not like. We are just playing. We're just having fun time.
I could honestly say just from that description, you're one of my favorite kinds of players.
Yeah. I quite often will play like the simple version, well, sort of like a Mugen character, because I just, I'm certain groups of my friends. We're just there to like have fun. And then some groups, even off camera, like if we're doing like a more serious, like kind of scary game. It's more about like who you're with than what you're putting out there. I think just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've especially found that like the differences in playing in person or like at your home game versus streaming, like it is really just come down to like you are like almost hyper aware that you are being streamed. Like it's not like it just fades away and I'm playing a game with my friends. It's like, no, you're there, there's people watching and that you're performing. And so you're absolutely going to have a different sort of interaction with people when it comes to that versus I'm just here to do dumb things with my friends.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean it's really fun because it is sort of that intersection of like improv, you're playing a game, you're also performing, but you're not like acting. It's not like being on like a TV show or anything. But there's no scripts. So you're mentally more involved in what's happening than just putting out an appearance. So it's it's a lot of work mentally.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. Like I write books and stuff, and like I got to come up with dialogue and everything, but it still astounds me sometimes with some streamers, like the way that they are just able to go off and give this long monologue off the cuff in character and everything. It's absolutely astounding to watch. But I at the same time though, I'm like, if I was in their home game, I would not expect them to do that.
Yeah. Expectations are a lot lower. But home games can still be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
in their own weird way.
Absolutely. Well, that is the bottom of the questions, and I think that is actually a good place to start wrapping up this episode.
Cool.
Michelle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
If people wanted to find you and your work on the internet, where could they do so?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny. So that's Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and also my website, MichelleWhenBradley.com, is where I post like anything like a new show that's been announced or appearances and that kind of thing. Speaking of appearances, I will be at Big Bad Con in 2 weeks. That's in San Francisco, for those not from California. I received one of the POC scholarships to attend, which is really nice of them. So they're just sending me up. And I will also be at PAX Unplugged. So if you guys are at either of those shows, please come say hi.
You asked me before we went live about Big Bad Con. I thought you were nicknaming another con, and I
Oh,
was
that
like,
was
because I
bad.
never heard of that one before. Like, oh my god, it's really called Big Bad Con. Okay.
Yeah. It's like the hot shit now. Like it's everyone's going to that one.
Well, there you go. New con to keep your eye on.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Michelle, again, thank you so much for joining me today. And you can catch up on all of Familiar Quest on our YouTube channel. The link can get dropped in the chat there. And if you're already on our YouTube channel, you can just go find it from here. But be sure to watch all of those, and we'll see if maybe somewhere out in the stars in the future, some familiars on a spaceship are found.
Oh.
But that is going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, take care of yourself.